When setting your schedule for the day or the week, keep these helpful tips in mind. Start with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish by the end of the day or the end of the week? Month, year, decade, just keep that end goal in mind. Now, once you start with the end in mind, you can work your way backwards to figure out what you need to get done in order to move along. Now, you're going to want to plan your day around your clients or your prospects. You've blocked out time on your calendar to call prospects, but does that time suit their schedule or yours? If you're not calling your potential clients when it's convenient for them, you're not effectively managing your time. While research can tell you what are the best days and times to reach out to prospects, it comes down to knowing your target market's behaviors and routines. For instance, calling a person who owns a business at 1 p.m. on a Monday probably won't yield a result. But calling that business owner maybe at the end of the day, towards the end of the week, let's say 5:30 or 6, as they're wrapping up their day or driving home, might give you a better opportunity of actually speaking with that person and having an effective conversation. Track your results and get to know what works for your prospects. Then you can build your outreach schedule based on that. Another tip I have for that in the business is if you had someone who ghosted on you or canceled on you after you already had an appointment booked with them. So if you had an appointment booked to meet with someone at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, and then maybe Wednesday morning they canceled, or maybe a few hours before they canceled, right? When you go to reschedule with them, try to reach out to them either around the time of the day that they canceled on you, especially if they gave you a phone call, because that means they had time to pick up the phone and speak with you. Now, if they just sent you an email, maybe they didn't have time. So you want to reach out to them at 3 o'clock the following Wednesday. Why? They set a time with you on that specific day and they made an appointment with you for 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. Chances are that's a good time for them, that they're generally available and open to speak. Otherwise, why would they schedule an appointment with you at that time? So call them around 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. Hey, I'm so sorry that we didn't get to connect. I hope everything's okay. I'm calling because you said this was a good time to speak. Is it still a good time? I can talk now, or we can aim for next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Now you've just kind of called them out in a friendly way that, hey, that you didn't keep the appointment, and B, I know this is a good time for you. Let's aim for the same time next week. Or you can say, if 3 o'clock is typically a good time for you, are you available tomorrow at 3 o'clock, right? So try to schedule your follow-ups and your rescheduling of appointments that got missed on the time that that person said they were originally going to meet with you. Get to the know faster. Now, this is one of my favorites because it really helps you stay efficient and manage your time. Now, we'll dive into this more when we touch on prospecting and qualifying. Chasing the wrong prospects can cost you valuable time, and we all know that time equals money. This is time that you could have otherwise spent nurturing a valuable lead, or perhaps you canceled or rescheduled another appointment with someone else because this other person said they wanted to meet with you. Most likely you will have a system in place to help you disqualify leads, but it can be hard, especially in the beginning, to let go of a potential sale, even if it appears to have just the slightest chance. And now that's going to be a big error. Disqualifying leads as quickly as possible allows you to move on to the ones that are more likely to become your actual client. So view the hard no as a good thing, and don't let it hurt your feelings. It lets you know to stop chasing that bad lead. Next is going to be batching your tasks. Grouping similar tasks together leads to greater productivity and efficiency. Block off a specific amount of time to make cold calls each day. Return calls at the same time each day rather than continually just checking your voicemail all day long. You always want to check your voicemail as the calls come in, because it could be someone who says, "Hi, I want to meet with you. I'm in need for what you're offering." So make sure you respond to your voicemails in a timely manner. Oftentimes, we find some advisors lose business because they simply didn't return a phone call on time. And to that person on the other end, It just looks unprofessional if you can't respond to them in a timely manner because it sets the precedent for your relationship doing business going forward. You do want to designate time throughout your day, however, to have effective prospecting. And once time's up, you can just move on to another task. Scheduling activities this way improves your workflow because when you concentrate on one activity at a time, you become faster, better, and more accurate. Unfortunately, as much as we think we can multitask, it's really impossible to dedicate 100% of your focus and productivity to multiple tasks at one time. Now we have batching appointments. When you have a meeting outside the office, think about who else you could meet in the area. It seems obvious, but how often have you found yourself wasting time just driving around going from point A to point B due to ineffective scheduling? Grid out your territory and meet with prospects and catch up with current customers all within the same area. When you effectively manage your travel time between appointments, you can meet more prospective buyers to increase your sales potential. Another hint here is if you had someone who ghosted you or canceled on you and didn't reschedule maybe, you can call them if you're in their area. And even if you're not scheduled to be in that area, but you have some extra time, go ahead and show up in that area and let them know, hey, I'm actually visiting another client who is about 10 minutes away from you. Do you have time perhaps later this afternoon in about an hour when I'm finished meeting with that client? I know we never got to reschedule, but I am in the area, so I figured I would just reach out and let you know. And that tends to work, obviously, given if the person is available to meet with you. But it's something to keep in mind if you happen to be in an area that you had an appointment scheduled with someone and they didn't come through on the appointment. The next is to just stop multitasking. You may think you're being more productive, but studies show that it's actually slowing you down. Your brain just can't do two things at once. When you're multitasking, your brain is actually darting from one task to another in rapid succession. So as a result, you lose about 40% of productivity because the brain is constantly shifting gears trying to focus. Not only does multitasking just kill your efficiency and performance, but it's actually harmful. Prioritize your sales activities and focus on one thing at a time to maximize your success.